So the report for Stellantis is out, and it is more bad news. According to their own website, global shipments fell by 9%, around 1.2 million units, while shipments in North America fell by 20%. Now, shipments, according to their own definition, are car units they sell to their dealers and distributors or anyone that sells to customers directly. Now, they didn't really talk about sales, but their sales in North America were down 12%. Now, the thing is, Stellantis is saying much of this is due to transitional factors and that a lot of this was expected. Now, I don't know about the transitional aspect, but this was definitely expected according to their last report. They said at the end of last year that the first half of this year would be bad. So we just have to wait until the second half to start getting some good reports from them. Now, I don't believe we'll have any good numbers in the second half of this year either, or really at any point to be quite frank. But we'll have to wait and see, I guess. Anyways, in the report it states, performance in North America was also affected by the initial ramp-up phase of the updated 2025 Ram heavy-duty trucks. And then it goes on to say, helping to drive positive momentum in order intake while maintaining normalized dealer inventory levels. Now, this is just a bunch of BS to say, hey, we're going to reduce inventory to basically get off the glut of unsold units we have on our dealership lots. For those of you who aren't aware, in the latest Cox Automotive report, they had about 110 days supply of units for Ram and 104 days of supply for Jeep. That is against an industry average of 70. And believe it or not, this is an actual improvement. At one point last year, their day supply for Ram was so high, it didn't even register on this graph because it was like double the average. So they've been burning through cash from their profits to help dealers get rid of overpriced cars, and all of that just so that they can have numbers that are at the very least on this graph, even if they're the worst or some of the worst numbers on it. Now, they don't talk about the tariffs in the report, which could be for a variety of reasons, one of it being we have no idea what's going on with the tariff situation in Trump, but it could also be that these numbers are already bad enough without the tariffs, so putting in any more negative factors are just going to make them so bad that there won't be any point of reporting them because they'll just collapse their stock. It could also be that their situation is so bad that tariffs don't really matter. If you're not shipping cars or if you're cutting down on production drastically, what difference will tariffs make for you anyways? Tariffs only make a massive impact if you're having good sales numbers and need to provide more units to your dealers. That's not the case for Stellantis. Their dealers don't want any more units. They probably dread every time new shipments come in. So I just don't see that as a factor. Now, in another article, it talks about their past year performance, and it states, presenting 2024 results in February, including a 70% drop in net profits and a $6.8 billion cash burn, the group offered a cautious outlook, saying an improvement would not really materialize before the second part of this year. Now, the cash burn is because they're using a lot of their cash reserves to help their dealers sell cars. So, as bad as these numbers are, they could be much worse. We'll only really know the true depth of these issues once Stellantis starts running out of cash. That's when the truth will come out. But that issue in my mind creates another question about the second part of that quote where they talk about the improvements materializing at the second half of the year. Are they predicting these improvements being there without them still burning cash, helping their dealers sell their overpriced cars? Because I've seen the prices on some of their 2025 models, and those things are not selling unless there's massive discounts on them year-round. If they're predicting otherwise, they might be in for a nasty surprise. I thought Stellantis learned their lesson when it came to pricing from last year, but it seems like that may not be the case. So we'll kind of have to wait and see what happens at the end of the year. Ultimately, what do I think of all of this? My prediction is that Stellantis will survive and avoid any major financial problems, but won't fully be out of the woods. Do I think Stellantis is going to turn things around and start competing with Ford and GM anytime soon? Absolutely not. Do I think Stellantis, on the other hand, can avoid bankruptcy and stay afloat in the auto industry? Yes. I think they have enough cash reserves and enough profitable brands to stick around, but these brands are never going to shine or do well under the management of Stellantis. Unless Stellantis sells them, they'll forever be mired in mediocrity and will be fighting just to stay alive. But those are my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, and as always, if you enjoyed this, make sure to click like and subscribe. See you in the next one.